In this lecture, I am going to explain on control flow statements. What is control flow statement? Whenever you write any program, it should follow in particular order. That's very important. If you don't follow in order, what will happen? Logic will be not executed and it creates errors. So in this module, control flow statements are there here. Here, what is control flow? Control flow is the order in which the program code executes. And here, how the flow is regulated, it will be regulated by conditional statements like loops and function calls. And there are so many statements, conditional statements are there, like if statement, if else. One by one, I'm going to discuss. First, let us see if statement. What is if statement? In C, if you have any knowledge on C language, if you have any knowledge on C, then you might be knowing the if statement. If you execute if statement, what will happen? It will depend only on particular condition, only if statement. What about compound if statement? If you here use elif, that means in C language you will be learning else if, but here in Python you are learning elif, that is else if and else classes. And here's the syntax for the if statement. This is the syntax: if space expression colon statement. Here comma semicolons not required. Just here if after but only one thing you have to remember: you have to give colon only, and in if condition, else if expression statements, else if expression else statements. ELIF and else clauses are optional. So Python does not have a very important thing you have to note down. If you have any running nodes, it will be quite fine. Python does not have a switch statement. That's one of the things you need to notice. But the previous you might be having so many switch cases in the previous languages like C and Java. But in Python, you are not having any switch statement, so you have to use if, else if, and else only. Yeah, but you should pronounce as else if only, but you have to write as elif only. And this is a typical if statement. Suppose if x is less than 0, then you have to give x is negative. X is negative. This is the syntax. You have to write this one. If x is less than 0, we have to know what is x value. Suppose if x is having 5, 5 is less than 0, false. Then x is even and non-negative. Suppose you take the test case as -1, what will have negative value? X is negative. If you are having x value 5, then what will have 5 or 6 or anything greater than even and non-negative. Suppose if you are having multiple statements in this, what you are going to do? ELF. But you have to know what is x value, main thing. Let us execute this one. Open the Python shell and open this one, new file. And first you have to know the x value is some 3. Now go to the program. What you have to write this one. Write like this. And here x value is if x is less than 0, x is negative. And if x mod 2, that is x is positive and odd. Here one thing not there, but you have to understand the logic. In programming, every time you have to apply correct logic, then only program will be executed. Here you give x value as 3. 3 is less than 0, false. Again go to the next one, 3 mod 2. What you are getting here, positive and odd. If you are getting remainder as 0, it will print even and non-negative. Save. So conditional, and you should run like this. Missing parenthesis. Then what you have to do? Did you mean print? So by this you got some mistake, no? This is a syntax error. So if you get errors only, you'll understand which type of error rating, what we are about to do mistake. By this, you can learn easily. Yeah, but here parenthesis is very important. Say this one. X is positive and odd. Why? You are giving x value as 3. Assume that you give x value as 8 and run this one. X is even and non-negative. Suppose give x value as minus 8. So I am taking different test cases matching if statement. X is negative. I hope you got this point. This is the multiple statements. Suppose you don't want all this, simply you want if conditionally, then what you will get, remove all these things and execute only if statement. Okay. And in Python, you should not use like this. If x is true, if x is equal to true, if boolean x, don't use like this. Simply you use the programming like this only. This is the best example to execute the simple if statement or multiple statements in if. That is the best example. You can go ahead with this and don't follow such type of things here and you'll get confused. Next one, while statement. While statement, what is the purpose of while statement in programming? Whatever you are having repeated execution of statement, it will be controlled by a conditional expression. So the syntax of the while statement is while expression statement. Here just use like this. We'll see what happened here. Every time you have to give parenthesis. That's very important. Here count is 0. What is x value here? Assume that x is having 5. Count is equal to 0 while x greater than 0. 5 is greater than 0. 5 by 2 how much? 2. Count is equal to count plus 1. Count value is having 0, 1. So like this until the condition satisfy. Every time you have to give colon. We'll just test this example. If you get error also no problem. Approximate log 2 is 3. Here applying the log 2 value. Okay. Why? Because you have to observe everything what you are going to get. So if you give x value as some 10, 10. Now run this one. Approximate log 2 is 4. You're changing value, no? Why? Because here x value is, whenever x value is increasing, your log value will be increasing depending on the count value. So here you understand the syntax. First you have to declare the variables and you have to give condition. This is while condition and give x value is 1, count is equal to count plus 1, right? So got it, this one. By this you understand how to use while condition Python. Next, for statement. This is also similar to the while condition only. Here also it will support the repeated execution of statement or block of statement. Here the syntax you have to use like this: for space target in iterable. That is, iterable will be stored in the target. That's very important. For letter in, here's a typical for statement. For letter in This one, give me a letter. Okay, iterative statements will be there. Like this, you have to use. I will demonstrate this first statement in the last you are having. Suppose for x in some sequence, process x, the last process was x. Here you need to understand the x value. X value will be 5. Hmm? Not like this. Some sequence SC q is equal to some 4. Assume that 4. We'll see test cases like this and run this one. Missing parenthesis. Okay. Sorry, I forgot in the flow. Run this one. Why? Because for x in some sequence, int object is not iterable. Why? Int some sequence, right? 4 comma 2 comma 5. Process is not defined. You have to define process x now. So here you don't have any process. That means you have to build some logic. Print x 4 comma 2 comma 5. Last item process was 5. Because you are having so many things 4 2 5. What which one will be processed? Last one, fifth one. First you are 4, next one 2, next one 5. Last item process was 5. Now got it? No, don't confuse this process. Your process is not there. You have to use print only. So here error is getting, logical error is getting, syntax error is getting, but you are rectifying this one. I hope you understood. And iterators is continuously repeating like this until the particular condition is met. And you have to give certain range also, no? That's very important. You have to give certain range to support the values. And list comprehension is one of the thing. It is inspect each item in the sequence and build a new list by appending the results. Comprehension means like this. A syntax. Square bracket open, expression, space is very important. Don't give space as you like. Here you have to follow certain space, give one single space, expression space for targeting trouble. Here you'll see hyphen classes. Observe the syntax carefully. Result 1 x plus 1 for x in some sequence. For x in some sequence, result 2 dot append. That is, you are appending this one x plus 1. Here this condition is there to be meaningfully. Result 4, this one, x is greater than 23, like this. If you are using nested for, you have to use like this, x in a list, y in another, result 6 dot append like this. Next, break statement. What is the main purpose of using break statement? Whenever you want to come outside of the program, you have to give break statement. That is very important. If you don't want to continue for something, you have to use break. This is the example of this. X is equal to get underscore next, y is equal to pre-process x, okay, break, process x comma y. Next, continue means it will continue in this statement only to proceed further. Like this, continue. See, continue is there. In the bottom, I have said so many examples are there. Just this is the syntax only you need to observe. I'm going to explain the examples just bear for 2-3 minutes. I'm going to explain. else clause. Suppose you are using for loop, then you are using if condition. Okay, here if you are giving if condition, then obviously else will be coming in the scenario for loop. And a pass means what? Cannot be empty. It doesn't do anything. Certain action cannot be happened here. Process 1x pass process. And these are the examples. Num is equal to 7. Let us see these examples. Num is a 7. Num is equal to 7. If num is greater than 0, num value is 7. 7 is greater than 0. 7 is non-zero value. Thank you. This is the output you are going to get. And down also you are having some output. If suppose if you are having num less than 0, what will happen? It won't print anything. And here if you are giving num is equal to 0 means what will happen? Just it will print thank you only. Suppose if you are giving negative value here, what will get negative number? So understand these programs carefully, execute this. If minus 3 is greater than or equal to 0, true or false, minus 3 always negative number only, it doesn't support. If you are giving any float value, what will happen? It is positive number. 6.7 decimal value. What you are going to get is 6.7 is greater than 0, not true. Suppose if you are giving a negative value, what will print negative number? I hope these examples are easy. If you are giving negative minus 8.9, it will print negative number. You are having any list that is having, just observe these examples carefully. Sum is equal to 0. Sum is equal to sum plus value. You are using for, okay. Num is equal to minus 1 comma 0 comma 1 comma 2 comma 3. Sum is equal to 0 for val in num. Sum is equal to sum plus val print the sum is what you have to print finally sum. Closing parenthesis. See how the syntax doesn't support here. You are using some different thing. Sum is minus 1, sum is 0, sum is 2, 5. Why it's printing like this? You are using here tuples. You might be learning in the previous lecture what is tuple. Tuple means it will print entire thing, but if you are giving list only, you will get correct. Sum minus 1025. Again, go back to the logic. What you are going to do is NUM something, you are getting sum is equal to 0, sum is equal to sum plus 12. Print the sum is sum plus VAL. Okay, here sum value is 0. You are going num values are storing here -1 -1025. Why you are getting like this? -1 plus 0 1 -1 0 plus 1 0 1 plus 2 3 2 plus 3 5. Suppose you give us numbers 0 1 2 3 0 1 3 6. How you are getting? You are just printing this one. Some value is 0, sum plus val for val in num. The sum is sum only will be printed. Sum is equal to 0 for val in num. Sum is equal to sum plus val. The sum is 1 3 6 10 15. How we are getting this one? 1 plus 2 3 3 plus 3 6 6 plus 4 10 10 plus 5 15. You are printing now. You are getting. Similarly, you are using for loop. You are using else also. Then how you are going to print? Here also some everything will be printed, right? Let us see for loop. I value something, assume that 1, while I less than 8. Print I plus is equal to 1 up to 7 printed. How 7 will be printed? Because we are giving condition I less than 8. Okay, like that it will increment until that condition satisfied. Suppose this is a sample program of addition of natural numbers. We are giving n value is 20, add 0, I is equal to 1. If you are giving while condition I less than or equal to n, I value how much? 1. 1 less than or equal to 20, true. And add is equal to how much? 0 plus I. I value how much? 1, and so on, incrementing. This how will increment it up to 20. 20 numbers will be incremented until that condition up to 20. What is the sum of the natural numbers? N into n plus 1 by 2, right? 20 into 21 by 2. So how much? 10 into 21, 210. If you want to do manually also, you can get but like this we have to use the logic. N is equal to 20, add 0, I is equal to 1, I less than or equal to n. So add is equal to add plus I. This is counter updating. Every time if you are incrementing by 1, it will be updated. The sum is like this. Again, this is another logic. You're decrementing the values here. First, you are having 10 value. If your 10 is greater than 0, then it will go decrement one value. And inside also one loop is there. If condition, if 10 not equal to 5, it will print A. That means every time you are decrementing, just will print 9, 8, 7, 6. 5 there, no 5, and when 5 case, it will stop because it should be not equal to 5. If we are taking a string now for a in Python, if a is equal to h means break, print a, loop ends. Why only 3 will be there? Because if it's up to h only, it will there. If you want to take n, it will print p by tho. Okay, here a is equal to h, we break. Otherwise, it will print a, loop ends, p by t loop ends. Here also similar case, decrementing like previous thing and so on. Got it? No, p by thon. Continue. Here you give break. Here you give continue. Break means it will stop there only, but continuous it will continue entire thing. This is one of the example here. This is somewhat different. No, I'm going to execute. This one for a in. You take example as basic Python. If a is equal to, assume that you are having y, continue, print a. You can give anything print statements that should be meaningful. So basic Python only, because you are giving entire thing y only, no, only y is there. That way it will skip y, but however it will move forward because you are using continue one. If you are giving some example break, then what you will get output basic t. It will stop here only, break. If you give continue, the entire thing will be printing except y. I hope you understand the break, continue, and while condition, if condition, everything. With this flow control statements completed, Magam practice this one in interview point. They will ask everything like this. Understand each and every syntax mentioned above. If you are having any query, please comment, and keep watching this channel continuously, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe. If any queries, you can just post a comment.